showers. But now, what matters? Tonight. Those of you that haven't heard these two gentlemen before are in for a surprise and a treat. And may I say, before you get worried, you are allowed to smile and you are allowed to laugh. No, sorry, Chris is just shaking his head here. Coppins Musgrave, they've also been here before a couple of years ago, all the way from Aberystwyth. And this, you need to listen to what he's singing about. And I can assure you that this duo will be a treat and very, very different from anything you've heard before. Ladies and gentlemen, Coppins Musgrave.
Unfortunately, nothing's happened to us on our way here tonight. Just one of those nights, just got dark. And then it rained. And that's not going to surprise anybody, I don't think. It stopped raining, that's surprising. And we didn't run over anything. We stopped a couple of times to check which side of the river we were on. You know, France or England, you know what I mean? Just sophisticated sort of stuff. We were trying to pick up the smell of the local chippy. Fortunately, it drew us down here, which was great. And then we saw this place with convenient parking. And that was it, really. Whole uneventful time. Oh, I think we switched the interior light on a couple of times, just to change the atmosphere, you know, and then we switched off again, which is quite dramatic. And but this first song really is about man. That's I'm not apologising. It's a tribute to his ability to be totally self-deceiving. I make a pretty good cup of coffee. I've made plenty since you walked out that door. Living by yourself, you know, it has good sides as well as not so good. You can watch what you want on telly. You can be nasty to the cat. But you know, somehow I can never quite forgive her. 'Cause my heart is like, yeah, my heart is like dry river. Yeah, my heart is like dry river. Dry river. Well, she rings me up most evenings just to see how I'm getting on. I don't know. I talk about the telly, she talks about her mum. I try not to be caustic. She always says, how are you doing? I always say fine. Which for most of the time, that's how I feel. I think I'm a disappointment too. She's kind enough. But you know, I can never quite forgive her. 'Cause my heart is like, yeah, my heart is like dry river. Dry river. Dry river. Dry river. phoned me. I could tell she was at some party or other. I remembered it was something to do with art show, local do. I could hear people laughing in the background. Doesn't actually make me shrivel up, but it's the next best thing. She said, "How you doing?" I said, "Fine." She said, "I hope you're not just standing there looking at the wallpaper." She always tries for it, you know. Somehow, however it goes, I can never quite forget her. 'Cause my heart is lying. Yeah, my heart is lying. Dry, dry river, dry, dry river. Dry, dry, dry river. You'll be pleased to know that I'm not psychotic, I have a dog. Whenever I'm feeling sort of twitchy or reaching for a sharpest knife in the kitchen, I calm myself down, stroke the dog. And it's a technique they teach it in the States. Like also, you can go to classes for laughing. I've never been to one of those classes. I think it would shatter my head. The bolts are already loose, and I think it would just be the last thing that I wanted to know about. But my son tells me that he comes out of those classes feeling really, really up. There are some things about my son which I'm severely doubtful about. I just can't imagine it, but he thinks it's great, and that's fine. And as long as we live apart, that's good, and keeps clear of each other at Christmas time especially. This is the time when the big smile descends from the heavens. It's like a McDonald's sign. You know, the Rolling Stones had those big lips on their records for quite a time. That's the Christmas smile, I think. I do practice it, but I can't get the convincing muscles to have any reaction in my eyes. My eyes still look as though they're full of hate for humanity. It doesn't matter how much I smile. It's just strange, that. So I'm going to go to one of those people that stick pins into you to try and do something with my eyes, make them smiling. But perhaps paint would do it or something. I'll let you know. Something to work on. This song is about another one of man's attributes, and that is a way of putting women down. We're taught that from the cradle, and our mothers, I think, encourage it. Mothers are not good news, really. Anyway, this is called Nobody Knows Me. Nobody knows me like you think you know me. Nobody knows you, girl, like I do. No, nobody loves me as much as you say you love me. No, nobody knows you, darling. Christmas tree. Yeah, you wanna be a fairy, kiddo? My Christmas tree. Well, just climb up, darling. Come sit beside of me. Taste of honey, kid, like a honeybee. Wanna taste of honey, child, like a honeybee. Well, you can taste the honey, kiddo, as long as you get all your honey straight from me. He's your man. Nobody cares about you, sweetheart. Leave him while you can. Don't kid yourself. Nobody knows you like he. Just take it easy, girl. Knows you. No need to cry. Things are bad now. He's your man. But they'll get better by and by. Leave him while you can. Nobody knows you like you. Nobody knows you. Nobody. I think sort of raising the tone into another degree of layers of insanity that we carry around with us. This has got a more serious note about it, and it's the ability of our society to what is called section people. I think that's usually kept in the back pages of any novel you read. It says about the author, you know, the author wrote this book and then cut his throat, and I hope you enjoy it, etc. You know what I mean? It's those sort of little gems that nobody else turns up with. I always search those out. Page 173 in any book is undeniably the best reading you ever go for. And if you're in a library at any time and have that terrible decision making to do, 173. Ignore the first paragraph, because the author hasn't got into his stride, or her stride, and go on the second paragraph, and then usually all of life's challenges are answered there. You know, take them down, make a note of them, take them home, and read them through. Needless to say, I haven't done this ever. So I don't have any responsibility for people who go around with their fingers in their ears and looking pretty distraught. But I have it on good authority. 173 is the place to look for really good news. This is about a song about, really a song about a friend of mine. It's called Angel's Wings. Well, I got home late that morning from the early shift. I saw a note that's pinned upon my door. I took the note down and a feather floated out of it, landed and stuck to the floor. Inside was a letter. It said, when you get this, come round, please, as soon as you can. Love, Anne. Angels wings, those angels wings. Angels wings, those angels wings. I had a bit to eat and went right round. She lives in a 6th floor flat, just like mine, only up the road a bit. I went to the lift, it was not working, so I had to walk up the stairs. When I got to her place, I felt less of a man than I did when I was on the ground floor. I was panting just a bit more. She pulled the door open against my grasp. I went in like a rifle bullet into her room. She assumed a pose on a little stool and pointed to the chicken wire wings strapped to her back. She had been decorating the wings with bits of tat, odd bits of white cloth and bits of metal and such like, bits of dross. Bottom of the wings were tied to her heels with little chains. When she moved her feet up and down, the wings crinked and cracked. It was impressive, really. Those angels' wings. Angels' wings. Yeah, those angels' wings. Angels' wings. So glad you could come, she said, big smile. I'm just about ready to go. Come through to my bedroom. I went through and she was already there, jumping up and down on her little truckle bed. The French windows in her cramped bedroom were flung wide. The old net curtains were fraying like medieval banners. The sun was shining through. She said, I'm so pleased, it's you, it's you. I'm going, I said, I was gonna... I rushed down the stairs. My heels were leaving sparks. I got to the lobby, I was hot. Outside, normal day. Cloudless sky. Nobody doing anything, nobody saying anything. No debris on the road. I turned to go. Little feather floated down on the ground. Well, those angels' wings, angels' wings. Yeah, those angels' wings, angels' wings, angels' wings, angels' wings. Angels' wings. This next song is much more approachable, up, bouncy sort of song, and it's Welsh. Insofar as its environment is Welsh, and I don't think there's a drop of rain mentioned in it, not once. It's South Wales, which many people don't regard as being Wales at all, I don't believe. I can get on better with the accent in South Wales, because it's a bit like South London, I find. In fact, there are a lot of South Londoners in South Wales, and all in all, we get on very well. But they're very fast and sharp in Swansea, I think. Since I've been living in deep Welsh wetlands, for which I have no regret, I should say that. And in fact, my dog thinks it's the very best place to be, because you can liberally splatter everything with this really lovely khaki-coloured clay, just by going outside, saying hello to the chickens, coming back and going, and immediately we've got a new decor, and it's just marvellous. It's a new pair of trousers. You can't beat it, really. It's brilliant. I'm sorry I talk about my dog a lot, but it's very therapeutic. It keeps me grounded. I should also tell you that he's incredibly loving. He's never had sex, as far as I know. What he gets up to at night, I don't know. He's not kept on a chain or anything. He's free running. He's prick-eared collie. I don't know whether that prick refers to his ears or whatever. I haven't sorted it out yet. He's very bouncy and practices his foreplay usually on my legs or arms when I'm incapacitated by getting the water or other some endearing quality he finds irresistible. But the other hugely plus thing about him is whenever I pick up this guitar, he comes along within a minute or so and puts his head across strings. So you go. And I say this as it is a sort of slightly. It stops me rehearsing. It's worse than that. It doesn't even resonate. I don't know how he does it. He must get all the fur around his head, and he likes to lick the strings as well. So they become sort of rather slimy. And in the end, I give up, and he says, "Right, let's get on." And I have to put my shoes on, and throw another log, and he's fine, really. But not really a guitarist dog, I don't think. We're going to do a song sooner or later. I mustn't mention this because it's a promise I made to Dave, never to comment on tuning, or never to say things like, "He left his tuner behind today." But sometimes you can't resist things. This song is called Kilvey. Overcome by a sort of faintness that is near starvation. The warmth of her is fast escaping. What if we were meant to speak in some deep quotations? What if we were meant to lie in some deep cut furrow? High on the hill, town, dark hill of Kildare. Stand next to me in the mist, hold my arm, you smiled as though we had just kissed. What if we were meant to talk in some sweet quotations? What if we were meant to lie in some deep cut furrow? High on the hill above the town, dark hill of Kildare. Morning comes, it marks the end of our day. Your hair, it washes mine with dew. I feel the curl of your lips on my lips. We lie dreaming in some deep carved furrow. High on the hill above the town, dark hill of Kildare. I've written some notes from which is a fine thing, provided they stay legible. Otherwise, it's shit that really. Somewhere or other, this may not be so timely, but I'd really like to thank the management, which I believe exists here. Oh yeah. For putting on this really lovely venue, and just feels nice and comfortable, and it's ace really. Clinker glasses and warm lighting, all that sort of stuff. I don't know how they do it. It must just be it must be part of this big thirst for alcohol and coffee and stuff. It's brilliant. It's really ace. It also may be premature to remind you that there's actually another performing group of people on stage here after we've gone. So you mustn't all just walk out, you understand? However relieved you are, just hold on to it, because there is an amazing band, an amazing singer, Miranda, and I hope you have a really, really good time. I think that before that happens, there's a wee up note. And, so I'm cutting out the geography lesson, you understand? It's all up to you to get home more or less the same way as you came. So I'm not going to pass out little road maps or anything like that, okay? But don't forget, if you turn the wrong way, you are in the sea. I have to remind you that, these common sense things. So there you go. I went to see the doctor the other day. I didn't take my dog. I had an appointment. I went in and they said, "Oh, you go straight down the corridor. We've seen you before. Last door, the blue one on the right." I went down there, it was feeling pretty bright. The door was half open. I sort of knocked, went in. My doctor, she was pretty smart. She was leaning back in her doctor's chair. She was playing with some fancy ribbons in her hair. Had a little foam pressed to her ear. It looked as though she would settle there. She didn't know it. And I was right on the edge. Right on the edge of a steep decline. Steep decline. Yeah, really steep. Steep decline. Well, she finally turned around and waved me to sit down. I sat. She nodded. I waited. She said, "Sorry about that. Now let's see what we got." She went into a filing drawer and brought out some notes and then lots more, photographs and x-rays too, spread them out. So we both had a view. Then she pushed some into a big pile. She said, "These are okay, they're the results of tests you had not yesterday, but some years ago." Then she turned to a small pile and she said, "Well, these are fine, but I'm just glad they're not mine." She didn't know it, but I was right on the edge of a steep decline. Steep decline. Yes, steep decline. Well, I knew I had to make some sort of a surface thing here, so I looked at her, pointed the finger, and said, "Okay, what about you doing this horrible doctor job? With legs like yours, you could be a trapeze artist in Russia, Transylvania maybe." She looked at me. I thought I'd be out there, but she said, "It's a long and bitter story." I said, "Fine. We could meet at your place or you could meet at mine." She seemed to think about it for a while. And then she said, "After 9, at my place, I'll rustle up something, you bring the wine." I thought, sweet operator. But she didn't know that I was right on the edge. Right on the edge. Right on the edge of a steep decline. Steep decline.
decline.
Don't know whether she could do it for me.
Steep, steep decline.
Steep, steep.
Steep, steep decline.
Right, we should quit now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coppins Musgrave. The other band will get stretched up and take 10, 15